passports and partnerships, let's explore Southwest Nova Scotia to the world and more. Student voices, bright and true, a global journey just for you.
Welcome back to another episode of Passports and Partnerships, where we're sharing the stories of the international students, hosts, and community in the Tri-Counties. Bill, Rhonda, thank you for agreeing to be part of the podcast.
Well, thanks for asking us. Appreciate it.
Yeah. For people around the world who have no idea where Shag Harbour is, what's Shag Harbour famous for?
Well, it's Bear Point. Bear Point now, I know. We came through Shag Harbour just, 5 minutes? Is the UFO.
Yeah, the
UFO thing. Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty big deal. I was young. That was 1967.
Yes, it was.
But it still hasn't been disproved of what it was. They've never really found what it was.
Yeah.
And that's, that's what we're famous for worldwide.
And Barrington area, lobster capital of the world.
Lobster capital of the world.
Some of the best seafood in the world.
Yeah. I don't know if Bear Point's really got anything that's really big.
Got Bill and Rhonda Chipmunk.
We are.
In the Barrington community at Barrington High, the two of you are known to have been longtime hosts, really successful hosts. You help support the students, the school, and then the network of host families in the area. How did you get started with the International Student Program?
Cynthia.
Yep.
She was the first one that approached me.
Right.
So we had one boy at that time, and then Bill came home from out west for a week. So I didn't tell him that I did it.
Okay, big surprise.
So we go, but he had the most fun when he come home with it.
Yeah. So how many years ago would that have been about?
I think about 15.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
Closest, there's been 39 students, but 15 years, I think. And it took a couple of years for her to really convince me.
Right.
Because I was away so much.
Yes.
She's the real hero.
Right.
If there's any hero. She did it by herself for a while. I was only home for 1 week out of the whole month for a few years doing this.
Yeah.
And but that week, boy, I found out I was really enjoying this.
Right. What is it about hosting that's so special for you as host parents?
You learn a lot more
Yeah.
about their countries.
Yeah. When you think of all the countries of students that you've hosted, I'm sure you've learned lots as you've been able to share lots about Nova Scotian culture. Can you think, are there any things that stick out in your memories as being, wow, I would have never known that otherwise unless I hosted students?
Well, I know Rhonda has mentioned this to me more before I was involved too much because, like I said, I was at West. But simply going to the grocery store,
Right.
and seeing the grocery stores apparently don't look like ours in a lot of countries.
Right.
And seeing all the different food and all this kind of stuff and how we prepare the food. Yeah, that's sort of the big thing. And they all fall in love with Tim Hortons, of course.
Right. Yes, of course.
Tim's is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your home here, do you both cook? Do the kids help with the cooking? How does it?
The girls like to cook,
Yes.
and I have to tell them, make sure how to use the stove,
Right.
because it's a little different from what they have at home. They like to make cookies,
Okay.
Yeah, baking,
baking cookies, and
rice. Usually if they cook, it's stuff that they
yeah.
are used to eating.
Yeah.
it seems. Yeah.
So,
Most of the food that we've served them, they've never really smelled it. But
No, they never said they didn't like you eat.
trying something new.
Yeah.
No, these kids are great.
Only
it's
the
just homemade brown bread they like.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are there certain favorites either that you make or within your family network that the kids generally just love it?
My sister lost her husband a while back.
Okay.
And ever since, she bakes brown bread constantly.
Right.
And she gives it out to different people that she would like to.
He's really good at it.
So, and of course, Bill gets the first one. The kids get a second one.
Nothing like a nice, fresh, warm brown bread or buns.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that's right.
When you think of food and being so important in culture, are there any foods that they prepared for you outside of baking that it was something really special?
Oh, gosh. The German students that we've had,
Right.
they make this German potato salad
Yep.
that I'm loving.
Right.
And usually when every year, we usually have a night where the kids all cook and something from their own country.
Yeah.
And usually the German kids will cook that.
Yep.
A lot of our kids. And it's just special. I don't know why it tastes so different, but it's really, really good.
When you think of the 30 plus students you've had over 15 years, from your experience, why do you think they come? Like, what's so intriguing about Nova Scotia and Tri-Counties?
Well, you probably noticed this yourself, that like in our experience, most of the students we've had are probably a little bit more mature than kids their own age.
Right.
Like they've got a little something extra. Mm-hmm. And they're usually all do very well in school. And they're all really just got that little something that makes them want to be inquisitive about other things. And we've noticed that about every student that we've had. They always do well in school when they come, you know, and they always have that extra maturity for their age, it seems.
I think to be part of a program like this and studying abroad, it takes a lot of courage.
Oh,
and it's a big leap of faith, traveling and being so far removed from your family and friends. And there's no question, when I review the report cards each reporting period, our kids do very well, international students.
I could never have done that at 17.
Yep.
When I was there, or 15. We've had a lot of 15. I could never have done.
Yeah. Here you're doing it at 40, hosting them in your home, right?
Yeah, 40. Yeah, I wish.
As an experienced host in the Barrington area, you've helped welcome and support new families over the years, right?
Yeah.
How important do you think it is having a network of families?
Oh, it's everything. Right. It's everything. And anytime we get together, the students get together and you're invited too, it's always the parents will sit at one table and just sort of talk.
Yeah.
Not compare.
Right.
But talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, how do you handle this situation? Or how do you handle that situation? Or does your student keep their room clean? Or whatever. And me and Rhonda we have pretty simple rules compared to everybody has their own thing.
Yeah.
Rules are important, but our rules, and we've talked about it a lot, is pretty much keep your room clean and be good to each other. Because we always have two, and they're thrown in to a situation where they don't know if they're going to get along or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we've had a few that haven't, but most of the time they have. But that's the only two real rules. Everything else seems to fall into place.
Right.
You know what I mean? You keep it simple. We don't make a big list of things, which some families do, and that's fine. That's, what they do. But we keep it simple, and it seems that everything falls into place, it seems.
That's great. It sounds like through your experience, you guys are able to provide that foundation where they feel safe, right, in your home, to be able to build relationships with their host sister, right,
Yeah.
come with you.
Yeah.
From my experience in the role, only a couple of years, I've discovered that normally when there's conflict, typically it's around communication. There's a communication barrier. So
Isn't it? That's the truth.
how do you, as seasoned host families, make sure that you've got open lines of communication with your students?
Most of it happens at the supper table.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And we try to keep it light. Yeah. We might even make a joke about something that we really want to drive home.
Right.
But we have never had any big issues with the way that they act around other people or anything like that. We've never had any big issues that way. But if we have something that we really want to drive home, we'll usually at supper time, we won't make a special time of it. And one of us will just sort of bring it up in maybe even a joking way.
Right.
And usually the old thing you get more with sugar. And sometimes you're going to be forceful. I get it. But that's just not the way we usually do things. And it's always worked quite well. We've had to come down on a few quite hard, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
Very rare.
No matter what, they're still teens, right? And sometimes they're not going to get it right.
They're teenagers.
Yeah, they might say the wrong thing or not do the right thing. However, working with them and showing some understanding, keeping guidance here as to what's okay in the home and what's okay in the community, it's really important. And
Yeah, super. Yeah, super is. Yeah.
and clear communication is often at the root of that, right?
Yeah.
Just like building any relationship, it starts with communication and trust to build over time.
You can't overwhelm them that first week or two.
Yeah.
Just roll into it a little bit.
Absolutely. Because certainly some students, when they arrive, they've got culture shock that they're advancing because it is so different coming to rural Nova Scotia, right?
No public transit. How many times we've heard that? Yeah, most of ours have come from cities or just outside of cities where all of that stuff is. Now, we've never had anybody that, it's an issue, but it's never been an issue that they wanted to go home or anything.
Right.
They get used to it. They get used to it. But it's a big one. A big culture shock, just like Rhonda and I, who had never gone to the city.
Right.
Just like us being in the city,
Yeah. It's not lost on me that this podcast will be viewed by some of our students, some future students, our host families and people in the Tri-Counties in Nova Scotia. But also it could be watched by some parents that are sending their child to Nova Scotia to be part of this program next year or future years. What sort of message would you like them to know about the care that you folks and your friends that host, how much it means to you and the value you place in providing a good experience for them?
Well, what a leap of faith.
Yeah.
It must be. Can you imagine sending Megan to another country at 15?
Right.
What a leap of faith. Yeah. And you just have to really, really honor that. They expect their student to be treated like your own.
Absolutely.
And you really have to work on that. Yeah, if you did it for your child, you should be able to do it for this one. And we keep, every time we've kept communication with their parents.
Almost everyone.
Yeah, and we certainly allow them to call their anytime they want. It's not, we don't, we only have to go Sunday mornings to talk to your Ben. We allow them to talk to their parents as much as they want, and we talk to their parents as much as they want. We usually once a month. Yeah.
And they don't take the phones from them.
No,
Right.
once a month I'll send an email to the parents.
Right.
Little update.
Yeah.
From my point of view, the kids don't even know it.
Right.
Just
They will now, Bill, if they watch this.
I guess they will now. But I think that's a nice touch, right? Yeah. Well, just from my point of view, and it's usually. It is always positive.
Yeah.
Because just to give them a little, they hear from their student, but maybe they'd like to hear it from our point of view.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with so many students over the time and the deep relationships, I'm assuming you stay in contact with a number of them. They give you updates and
Almost every single one monthly. Yeah, all those. We've had lots of returns.
This home feels really comfortable. It really does. What's with the tree?
Well, I like to decorate for like Christmas.
Yes.
I decorate my tree. I keep it up.
Yep.
I decorate it for fall.
Correct.
Then I take those decorations on, and then I put the Christmas decorations on.
Yep.
And then I said, this year I'm going to put Easter on it.
Yes. And this weekend being Easter, it's a beautiful tree.
Yep.
I'm sure the kids love it as well.
Yeah, they help decorate.
Did that?
Yep, they
Yeah.
did.
I'm just waiting for the grandkids to see it.
They're on this weekend, of course. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Talk to me about that with the students and how they interact and become part of your family and the extended family.
Oh, well, Daisy thinks the world
It's our granddaughter.
Right.
of these two girls.
Of course.
And the first thing she's going to do is come in this house. When she gets here, she's going to go upstairs and see that
Yeah.
they do her nails for her.
Nice. Yeah. Good fun.
Yeah.
So really, your family just keeps growing with each student that you host.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I've got something that I did a few years ago. I hurt my knee when I was rehabbing my knee in Calgary for 6 months. I couldn't be home for Mother's Day.
Right.
So I reached out to maybe a dozen former students.
Right.
Send me a little video,
Right.
2 minutes or whatever, of what Rhonda meant to you.
Oh, wow.
And Megan is the last. I'll send it to you if you want. That Jerry tries to see him. Megan's the last one, and Megan said it right. Like she was an only child. We couldn't have any more. We could only have one. We wanted more.
Right.
But Megan has sisters and brothers all over the world, and she treats it that way too. Like I say, Alba was at her wedding. This is amazing. Yeah, amazing program. Yeah.
I'm curious. I mean, in listening to your testimony here and sharing your story, if I were watching this and I wasn't sure if hosting students in my home Because it's a big leap of faith for host families too.
Yeah, sure is.
What guidance or advice would you give them?
You can't let them come here and just sit.
Right.
Yeah. Right. You've got to show them things, just like when you're treat them like your own kids.
Right.
And
What are some of those things that students really are enthralled about Nova Scotia?
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons, yeah. Click Tibbs, yeah.
No, if I could have made a poll
Yeah.
of all the students when they left, what they missed the most after they went home.
Yeah.
For the most for us, Rhonda knows this too. It would be Tim Hortons and singing in the car.
Yeah.
They usually turn the music on, whatever channel they want.
Yeah.
And it's just me and Rhonda. We know what we like. But with the kids in, and we usually have a van full.
Right.
We hardly ever go with 2 kids.
Yeah.
And we turn it on there, and they start singing, and we just love it. Yeah. So that's one of the. I mean, they miss that, and when they get home, they really appreciate what they had here. Yeah. We're sports fans.
Yes.
And hockey fans, especially World Juniors at Christmas time.
Oh, right. You went to the World Junior?
No, we didn't go.
No, but the living room here was full.
Like 25 people here, and they're all instant Canadians. Yeah, I know what I mean, but and respectful of Sweden. I could have told you that. Their parents are we told you about Jesper from Sweden. His parents came for that time when they were here for World Juniors.
Right.
And they brought me and my daughter Megan Swedish
Spanish.
jerseys with my name on the back and everything. And we were all sitting. It was Canada, Sweden in the finals that year.
So what jersey were you wearing?
I wore the Swedish woman kitty with a Canada hat.
Everybody wins that one, right? Good call, Bill.
But that was, we always have the students here we make them watch hockey.
The funny thing is, I had surgery at the time. I asked the nurse if he would let me go, if she thought he would let me come home so I could be here for the game.
Right.
And she said to me, "Did you bring your makeup?" And I said, "Yes, I did." She said, "Well, you put your makeup on and sit there on that chair, and he'll let you go home." I said, "How do you know that?" She said, "I asked him one time, how did he know?" Or he told the nurse,
Yeah.
"You'll know when a woman's ready to go home because she'll have her makeup up."
Little secret there for you. But you mentioned about the host families. Yeah, this is a big thing.
It's huge.
It's a big responsibility, and it should be taken really, really seriously.
Absolutely.
This is not just for fun. And then, you can't just quit in a month or whatever. This is a big thing. It's a big commitment.
It is.
And unless you're willing to really grab a hold of it,
Yeah. And it's not lost on me that if not for wonderful hosts like you, Bill, and you, Rhonda, that our program does not exist. So
well, thank you so much.
thank you for all of the experiences you provided for your almost 40 students.
Yeah.
And not just yours, but the students in the community that you've welcomed into your home through the barbecues and picnics and driving and singing in the vehicles. Thank you.
Well,
We appreciate it.
no, thank you. It's been wonderful, and as long as our health holds up, we're going to keep doing it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.